We are getting some breaking news out of Treasury. Let's get over to Eamon Javers. Morning, Eamon.
Yeah, good morning, Carl. I just came from a briefing with Secretary Bessent, rare briefing on the record in his offices, talking about a potential U.S. intervention in Argentine financial markets. The Treasury Secretary saying to a small group of reporters just now that the United States is prepared for what he called a large and forceful intervention to stabilize Argentine financial markets, but that the need for that intervention will depend on market conditions, and nothing is going to come until after tomorrow's meeting between President Trump and President Milei of Argentina in New York at the UN General Assembly. The Treasury Secretary also said that he doesn't see a danger of financial contagion from Argentina. He said that he sees more of a danger of a lost generation in Argentina because of the stagnant economy that had been in place before the Milei government, in his view, did the right thing in terms of austerity and slashing spending and trying to right the economic ship in Argentina. This is very much, guys, it seems to me, a political step to prevent a contagion that might take down, political contagion that might take down closely allied center-right government in South America here by the United States. So no indication on what tools the United States would use. I asked the Secretary if he has a preferred tool here to step in with, and he said, you know, it's all going to depend on market conditions in the moment, but he said the U.S. is prepared for a large and forceful intervention if it comes to that. Also, guys, we had a chance to ask him about the search for a new Fed chair. The Secretary said that there are 11 candidates for Fed chair. By the end of next week, they will have interviewed 10 of them. He said one of the intricacies of this interviewing process is that he's had to bear in mind the Fed's quiet period. And so anybody who's on the board now or who's a regional governor, for example, is not being interviewed during those quiet periods. And then I asked the Treasury Secretary about his own future. You know, there was this report late Friday that Steve Bannon was suggesting that Bessent should serve simultaneously as the Fed chair and the Treasury Secretary under President Trump through the midterm elections. And Secretary Bessent said to me on that question, he said, well, President Trump says he likes me where I am, and I like where I am. So an indication there from the Treasury Secretary that he's going to stay put, but not, you know, an outright denial of the idea. Guys, back over to you.
Just watching this stunning move in Argentina, the peso, the stock market, which is ripping higher. It pays to have friends and allies and shared values with President Donald Trump. I think that's the takeaway here. Basically, the markets in Argentina have been reeling since President Milei lost some support in local elections a few weeks ago, and they're facing midterms in October, and there's fear that he's going to be thrown off his agenda, or that the socialists are going to get back in charge. And you know, the stock market had rallied so much, and the market had loved some of the policies of President Milei. So the collapse of the political support, I think, has been the key concern. And here's President Trump through Secretary Bessent saying, hey, we're here to help. It's better than the IMF, Eamon.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And Secretary Bessent said explicitly that. He said the message here is that if you are allied with us in terms of your approach, then the United States is prepared to step in and assist if needed. So this is very much a political intervention of somebody that the administration sees as a political ally. They see the Argentine experiment economically as an important one and one worth saving. And, you know, look, this president is very forceful about his allies. I also asked Secretary Bessent, by the way, if Elon Musk had been involved. You know, Elon Musk obviously very close with the Argentine government. We saw Elon Musk with President Trump yesterday speaking for what we believe is the first time since their falling out earlier this year. But Bessent said he does not know. He said, not to my knowledge, was Elon Musk involved in any sort of appeal to President Trump here over the weekend.
I think he was Milei was sort of an inspiration for Doge, you know, with the cutting, because they took a sledgehammer in Argentina as well to some of the government bureaucracy and spending, something that Doge wanted to do.
Yeah, hopefully not a precursor to our own tenure when theirs is yielding 14%.
Well, they have a much more complicated economic history, and they've been on the brink of bankruptcy and double-digit inflation for many, many years. But the hope was that Milei was trying to change that, and there was a lot of optimism around that if he's given the political mandate to do so.
I mean, it's been the political concerns about his sister and these local elections. Today they're scrapping some export tariffs because they need the dollar so badly.
Yeah, well, it's going to be all about the U.S. now helping and Actually, there was a clue this weekend when it was reported that President Trump and Milei would be meeting on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly. That should have been a clue for investors.
Yes. Eamon, thanks.
You bet.
Still to come this